Now at 5, breaking news in Tukwila. We're following a shooting at South Center Mall tonight. King 5 Sebastian Robertson is there.
We know that a boy was shot. The parking lot shut down for most of the afternoon. Coming up, why police say someone pulled the trigger.
Plus, the community comes together to support a family whose grocery store was damaged in a fire. We're hearing from a family member tonight. And the Apple Cup rivalry between the Huskies and Cougs comes down to one play. We have the highlights for you and the game winner.
And the trend looks to continue. More overnight cool temperatures and more of that sunshine with some morning fog. More on that coming up.
Thanks for choosing King 5 tonight. I'm Madison Wade. We begin with breaking news. One person is hurt after a shooting near the South Center Mall of Tukwila on the busiest shopping weekend of the year. King 5 Sebastian Robertson has been at that scene for the past 3 hours. And Sebastian, what do we know tonight?
Hi, Madison. We know it is a very busy shopping day. The parking lot has been packed all day long. But as for that shooting, we know that a boy was injured. We don't know exactly how old. Do know that it is a juvenile, somebody under 18. Tukwila Police and South Center Mall security had the westernmost parking lot shut down for several hours as they tried to figure out exactly what happened. What we know is that that boy was hit by a bullet after the shooting that was reportedly over a parking spot. This happened around 2 in the afternoon. Police and emergency personnel responded quickly, but at this point, little is known about the extent of the injuries of that person that was shot. Keep in mind, this comes on a very busy shopping weekend. It is the day after Black Friday, and the mall and most of the parking lot has been packed all day long. Madison, back to you.
Sebastian, thank you. We will continue to follow this breaking news up to the minute, so watch for updates on air and online at king5.com. You can always check our King 5 app too. Just text the word app to 206-448-4545 for a link to download it. To our other top story now, the Cougs and Huskies clash over the 115th Apple Cup. It's the last Apple Cup where both teams are Pac-12 members, and we have team coverage for you tonight. Drew Mickelson caught up with fans on both sides of the rivalry, but we're going to start with Chris Egan with the outcome. And Chris, wow, what a finish.
Madison, everybody take a deep breath. It is officially over, but what an Apple Cup tonight. Not only were the Huskies and Cougars fighting for state bragging rights, the Apple Cup had a lot on the line tonight. The Huskies need a win to keep their perfect season alive and a win to stay in the hunt for a national championship. The Cougars need a win to become bowl eligible. This game lived up to the hype and then some tonight. The Huskies would strike first on their second drive. Dylan Johnson gets the call on 3rd and goal. He scores. Huskies make it a 7-0 game. The Cougars would answer right back. Cameron Ward fires a dart to Josh Kelly. That makes it a 7-7 game. The Huskies never really got in a groove in the first half with their offense, but they had a few big plays. On 3rd and 1, the Huskies were show and run, but Michael Penix is going to the air. He finds Roma Dunze wide open, 40-yard touchdown. Huskies take a 14-7 lead. Now, right before the half, Huskies could have milked the clock a little bit. They didn't, and the Cougars get the ball back and make them pay. Ward throws it up. Kyle Williams makes the catch. 14-14 at the half. Second half, kind of like the first half, no team could get their offense really clicking. Both quarterbacks throw some interceptions. They also make some big plays. Penix, Dunze, 21-14 Huskies. No quit from the Cougs. Ward to Lincoln Victor. We're all tied up 21-all. The Huskies get a huge first down on 4th down. Then it comes down to this. Grady Gross, 42-yarder for the win. Gross hits it as time expires. The Huskies win it 24-21. What a thriller. The Huskies are now a perfect 12-0 and will now play the Oregon Ducks in the Pac-12 title game. Drew Mickelson, I tell you what, you watched a thriller tonight. This was the 115th Apple Cup, and there may not be another one like it for the fans. King 5's Drew Mickelson spoke to a few fans tonight, not willing to give up the tradition, even with the changes coming next year. Drew?
Hi, Chris. Yeah, they're trying to get the Husky fans off the field here. This was an incredible game. It was going to be memorable anyway because of this end of an era we keep talking about, but there's so much passion in this rivalry. Will the conference shakeup really mess with that?
Since 1900, this game has brought the two sides of the state together.
I think the Cougs are going to finally get a little redemption that we've been needing this whole season. And I think that it's important that she has hope.
It's just a tradition that you love to celebrate with friends that are foes, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we're just Washingtonians.
My fingers are so cold, I'll tell you.
Susie and Tom McQuarrie have been coming to Apple Cup since they got married more than 50 years ago.
My loyalties are clear, crimson and gray.
I'm purple. Yep.
It's a house divided every late November.
There were a few years there where after the game, Tom did not speak to me. For a few days, there was silence at our house.
There's no doubt this Apple Cup is different.
It has a little edge to it, yeah.
The whole idea of the Pac-12 falling apart like that is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Next year, these longtime cross-state rivals will play in different conferences.
I know it's all about money. That's just the reality of it.
Now, the Apple Cup itself isn't going anywhere. The teams recently signed a deal to play for at least the next 5 years. But next year, the game is in September. It's over at Lumen Field. Can the passion surrounding the Apple Cup survive this conference breakup?
It's got to be the same. I mean, traditions do matter, and I feel like at the end of the day, like this is a tradition for Washington.
For some, the tradition runs too deep to just walk away from it.
I think the Apple Cup will live on no matter when we play it.
Well, ask me in a year. We'll see.
But for the McQuarries, who know a little something about how to keep a relationship strong, don't know if they'll be able to get over this.
It's all falling apart. It's sad.
Those Cougar fans really wanted to ruin the Huskies' perfect season, especially with all of the buildup and chatter that's happened in the last couple of months here in the final days of the Pac-12, final hours actually, when you talk about football. But Coug fans, you can come back next year. And that was something we didn't know was going to happen. Yes, it's going to be different, but the Apple Cup will continue. Chris, back to you.
Drew, we love it. So great to have you live right after the game. Awesome stuff. Speaking of live, we've got Jake Garcia on scene as well. He's interviewing all the Cougar players, all the Husky players. We'll have much, much more on the Apple Cup coming up for you later on in sports. Madison?
All right, Chris, thank you. We're keeping a close eye on the roads in Seattle after the Apple Cup. This is a live look at State Route 520, where you can see traffic is definitely slowing down. And here is a bigger picture now. Anywhere you're seeing the red and yellow markers indicates slower traffic right now, and especially near the UW campus tonight as a lot of fans are pouring out of Husky Stadium. We will keep monitoring this and let you know of any major traffic delays as the evening progresses. All right, let's get to your first alert forecast now. Check out this beautiful sunrise. Oh, the Space Needle just poking through the fog right there. Mount Rainier in the distance. That is a gorgeous way to wake up on this Saturday. More sunshine ahead through the weekend and some pretty cold temperatures too. This combination is nice during the day when you get the sunshine to kind of thaw you out.
Yeah.
But right now as we speak, it is cold outside.
It is cooling down quickly out there. Wash, rinse, and repeat. We're going to do this all over again tomorrow. More morning fog to come. And if you are trying to head back, or if you have some family trying to head back early, get up on some of that driving throughout the night. We're going to keep things, of course, very clear, cold, but it should be okay for you. Looking at Snoqualmie Pass right there at Hyack. A few cars out on their highway right now as we speak. Big picture across the nation. We have a larger system across Kansas heading into Missouri right now. Going to be heading up towards Chicago. That's where the snow is going to be. Maybe some impacts when it comes to that, but otherwise we're going to keep things fairly quiet here. High pressure still in control for us, and just a few clouds passing on by. Temperatures at 30s and 40s. We look to drop near that freezing point, upper 20s possibly by tomorrow morning. We'll get more into those morning lows, plus we'll talk about when eventually rain will come back into play coming up.
All right, Adam, thank you. If you or someone you know needs a warm place to go, text the word shelter to 206-448-4545, and we will send you a link to cold weather shelter options near you.
We will build ourselves back up no matter what it takes.
One day after a large fire burned through a Tukwila market, the family who owns the store says that they're focusing on moving forward so they can help keep serving their community. Puget Sound Fire said one person suffered minor injuries from this fire and then was taken to the hospital. King 5's Connor Board is live outside of that market on Tukwila International Boulevard now with the details. Connor.
Madison, you can still see some of the damage behind me on the market. Now, that fire went through every floor of the building, and when fire crews arrived yesterday, flames were shooting out of the roof. Now, despite this damage, the family who owns the market says they have hope. Today, the flames are out at the Somali market in Tukwila, but the damage is seen throughout every floor of the building.
The whole thing was like flooded. Stairs are missing, the ceiling is falling down, the whole 9 yards. I'm just trying my best.
Muhammad Ali's family has owned the market for 14 years. He says it is a special place that serves many immigrants in the community.
Everybody who comes inside comes in with a smile.
That's why Friday morning, when people were calling him about a fire, he was in shock.
And I got woken up again, and they were like, no, you didn't hear me. It's on fire. And I jumped up, got out, didn't brush my teeth, didn't do anything, just came straight here.
In addition to the around 40 firefighters that were on scene Friday, dozens of community members came out to check on them as well.
When they saw this happening, they came in droves. They came with cars, they came with everything they had, and they said, you helped me in the past, now it's time for me to help you. What do you need me to do? And that was enough for us.
He says his family has put a focus on serving others for years.
My mom is so generous that anybody she sees who's hungry, she will feed them. And that's just what we stand for.
And Muhammad says it is important to him that his family continues to serve the community.
It's not over.
In this market.
It's not over.
For years to come.
We're still gonna be here. Come back and check on us in like a year. We'll be here.
Puget Sound Fire says the cause of the fire is still under investigation, but they believe it started on the outside of the back of the building. In Tukwila, Connor Board, King 5 News.
Families reunited. These are new images tonight from the families of those who've been reunited with their loved ones once being held by Hamas. After a delay earlier today, a second group of hostages were released by Hamas. 17 people in total. Nearly 39 Palestinian prisoners were also released in exchange. This comes amid a 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas, which is also allowing aid to come in for people in Gaza. Rick DeMiguela has the latest.
There was a long delay Saturday over the release of more hostages being held by Hamas. Israel expected another 13 Israeli hostages to be released, but Hamas delayed the handover amid disputes over aid into Gaza and the selection of Palestinian prisoners being released. A spokesman for the IDF says it takes time because there are so many moving parts.
It's a slow process, it'll take time, and we're all waiting for this to move ahead.
A spokesperson for Qatar's foreign ministry says the obstacles were overcome through mediation between Israel and Hamas, and aid is now en route to Gaza. Meanwhile, there was jubilation and relief as some of the hostages being held by Hamas were set free on Friday. Adriana Adar, whose 85-year-old grandmother was released Friday, says it was bittersweet to see her.
It's a mixed feelings because we're also very concerned and worried about the other 211 people that are still being held hostage, including my cousin.
Among the others still being held includes some Americans, which President Biden says he hopes will be freed soon.
We don't know when that will occur, but we expect it to occur. And we don't know what the list of all the hostages are and when they'll be released, but we know the numbers that are going to be released.
The urgency for all hostages to be freed continues as anxious family members wait for news of their loved ones.
It's a disaster. We just want to see her with us again, to hug her.
Rick Damigella, King 5 News.
These children are being traumatized by having to deal with this.
Some parents are pulling their kids out of a Tacoma middle school. Still ahead on King 5 tonight, what we know about threats from a group known as the Kia Boys. And the King Tides are coming back in just 3 days. New measures are being taken in Seattle's South Park neighborhood, which was devastated by flooding last year. And we are in the second half of the Thanksgiving holiday travel rush. We have the latest on conditions in the skies and waterways right now next.